Good morning, and this is the Talk at 10 for Integrated Health of Indiana. And so right now we're going to give a couple minutes for everybody to log on. If you have questions, type the questions into the comments and send them to us. I'll put them on the screen. And it looks like I need to change the SIBO and gut biosis. Actually, let's leave the studio. I'll be back. So let's try this again. We changed the the title on the bottom. So if you have a question, type it into the comments and post it up, and we will answer those questions as we go along. But we're going to cover the 5 most common questions, and then we're going to talk about what's new at the clinic, because it's amazing how you get going with something and then you just forget all the tools and things that you've brought on board until you actually stop for a moment, take a step back, and just look at what you've kind of created. It's kind of cool. So the first question that I get the most is, what should I eat? And that is such a loaded question. So let's see. I will post the question. And so we are answering number 1. What should I eat? And so when we look at that and we start to really think about it, the problem is it's not what should you eat. The difficulty is how much damage have you done to yourself? So what can you withstand? If you're eating the standard American diet, any diet, and we've said that before, any diet is better than the standard American diet, which is abbreviated SAD. Now, with that being said, what are the foods that we eat the most?
Salmon, sweet potatoes, onions, garlic, salad, oils.
And we've gone through a lot of tight diet. Basically, it's like a mini elimination diet where we've restricted a lot of things so that we don't react to them. And so now we're opening our diet up to more fiber and more foods. So you really have to think about, when you're talking about what should you eat. First off, what problems do you have? So do you have blood sugar issues? Do you have problems eating late at night? Do you have thyroid issues? Do you have detox issues? If you kind of know what you're dealing with, then you can kind of go into the tools that we have, which are keto, paleo, autoimmune paleo, vegan, vegetarian. You could even go into the Ornish diet and types and things like this, but they all have a great base. And the base is real foods. Try to eat organic when you can. Go to the farmer's market and get the foods from there, because as long as you can stand those, and when we say as long as you can stand those, if you're eating those, what are signs and symptoms they should look for that they are intolerant to?
Sensitivities, headaches, swelling, bloating, belly pain.
If it changes your stool, so if your stool gets loose, if you get constipated, there are things there that you've really got to kind of know. And then you can start to figure out what
you'll figure
you
out yourself.
Yeah.
So then you know if you've touched something, because you'll know how you feel.
And so that's very important to really think about too. In the end, though, you really want to have a wide open diet. The wide open diet or palate.
We ate bugs the other day.
Yeah, we got bugs from what's the big place?
Jungle Jim's.
Yeah,
we ate bugs.
I'm going to say Trader Joe's.
Nugget, we ate bugs. I hate the bugs.
Yeah, that's a big thing for her, not so much for me. So when we look at that, and we have a couple viewers, say hi on the screen for us so we can say hello and we'd love to talk to you rather than just talking to the camera. um, but that's the biggest thing is you want to have a wide open palate because you really want to be getting fiber. You really want to be getting cruciferous vegetables. You really want to be getting good proteins. And those are the things that you should be able to eat. And if you cannot eat those, you have a problem and you need to start digging into it. And that's where people like me and other people, oh, hi,
Hey,
Kath.
Kathy.
People like me and others, that's where we come in to start to help you first pull back and then move forward.
Vicky.
Hi, Vic. Another.
Because you need to figure out what your bugs are and what you don't have, and then feed the bugs you have, and then feed the bugs you don't.
Yep. Try to bring back the fascinating thing, and as some of you know that we do biome testing, the studies on the microbiome are absolutely incredible. And to bring the biome back, we used to think you just gave people probiotics and that's what's going to happen. Well, we now know that it's not just getting probiotics and that's going to happen. You have to have prebiotics to feed certain bugs because if you think of your gut as a garden, what happens is you're going in and you're putting down good manure and stuff like that to seed the garden or to get it prepped. And then you want to bring in the probiotics and you want to bring in the prebiotics so that the bugs that you have will flourish in balance.
And food isn't always the right thing.
Yeah.
Because you can't eat enough. So you just need help to seed your garden.
And it was me, like when they looked at, so I did my microbiome. And when I did my microbiome, they told me to eat foods that are all cooked. And I'm a big carrot chip and hummus eater and stuff like that. And so now it's like, oh no, don't do that. Well, not don't do that, but add in cooked foods to give my stomach a rest so that then the things can come in and work. And I'm taking these things called Swedish bitters. That possibly the worst thing I've ever had. Ugh. So that's kind of where you go with that. Next, what is that popping sound when you adjust me? So for people getting adjustments, these facets back here, the little itty bitty pieces right in there, the joint, that's actually a capsule and it's enclosed and there's a vacuum there. So when things move around, when you adjust these things, they pop. They create a vacuum as they move and then they pop. Let me put in the second question, the one I'm addressing now. What is that popping sound when you adjust my neck? All right. Chat. And I will show this on the screen. And so, like I was saying, that's where in between the facets, this is a sealed container. As you adjust that cavitation is what we call it. That pop is when that moves and it releases the gas from in between there. And that's a normal sound and that's a good sound to hear, but it's not a necessary sound to hear because some people who get adjusted quite regularly will not hear that adjustment or that pop because things are pretty much placed well, and then we don't have to have them fall apart and do just break everything down and rebuild and do it over and over and over again. And that's what the popping sound is. Yes.
I think you had a question. More noise.
Oh, does the more noise of an adjustment mean you need it more? Well, that's actually going to go into the next question. So that's actually going to go into the next question. And the next question is number 3. Why does my neck slash back quote grind? So, with that being so, doesn't need to be adjusted more. There's a possibility. So, if you're getting more pain, then probably if you're waking up in the morning and you're moving your head around and you're not popping it, you're not trying to get it to go, but you're just moving around and you hear that grinding and popping, that's normal. Number one. Number two is that grinding comes from inflammatory things in your body. So one of the things about the popping is that's a sign of inflammation. If you pop and pop and pop and pop, then you have inflammation in there. When you get that, sounds kind of like the zip sound, Vicky. It's like, and you hear everything go. That's a good release, but that's also a sign that probably you have some inflammatory factors in there, and they're causing that to subluxate, get tight. So adjusting more is good for you on that in that case and getting on it, but figuring out what the inflammation is. If you figure out what the inflammation is, then you will figure out how to get that to stay better. And that's one of the things that we want to do. We want people to be healthy. If I could work myself out of a job, that'd be great. But guess what? As long as there's construction workers and people picking up bags of concrete, feed, backer board, grass clippings, everything under the sun, as long as people fight and families have disagreements and all of these other things that cause us to have stress that make us inflammatory, well, guess what? I will always have a job because as you adjust somebody, you release the or not gluteomorphins, you release the endogenous morphines in the body, and that's what brings the body down. That's one of those things where we talk about allostatic load. When I adjust somebody, it's not even just putting the spine back. That's one benefit, but the release of the body's natural opiates, the release of the body's natural parasympathetic stimulating hormones, that's also helps us. And that's a wonderful thing because, just getting adjusted will help in body, mind, and spirit. That's a good thing. And so figuring out why the neck and the back grind. Actually, I just finished up a microbiome master class, and that master class had a certain I don't believe it was Saccharomyces boulardii. I forget which of the little microbes, but if you have a overgrowth of this microbe, you will have an overgrowth of lactic acid producing microbes. And so you get sore easier, and you also have a problem with grinding and popping because you have an acidic environment. One of the things to do to help with that is squeeze a lemon into a glass of water and drink it in the morning. Takes your pH down naturally. Number 4. We are to 4, yes. What is an anti-inflammatory diet? What is an anti-inflammatory diet? So, an anti-inflammatory diet is something that is very high in capsaicin, the cruciferous vegetables, all kinds of leaking.
Something on it that I don't.
A little sticker. So, so when we look at an anti-inflammatory diet, basically what I tell people is the hotter the better. And so those things that you eat that are basically blood thinning, they have lots of capsaicin in them. These are anti-inflammatory things that have sulforaphane and things that have curcuminoids, those types of things are all
Turmeric.
anti-inflammatory. So turmeric, garlic, onions, peppers, um, your broccoli sprouts and your Brussels sprouts, your little sprouted herbs, those things are very high in antioxidants and in anti-inflammatory.
There's our microgreen guy.
Yeah,
Microgreens are good for you. They're so good. Leeks.
we can't wait until the farmers market opens back up, because once the farmers market opens back up, we can start to make those super powerful anti-inflammatory salads that we eat all the time. And so, like, a big anti-inflammatory salad that we do is we'll just cut up onions, we'll throw in some bell peppers, and we'll throw in the microgreens. Um, Sometimes we cook some salmon and put it on there.
With some cranberries and some blue cheese.
Yep. Throw on some olive oil for a monounsaturated fat. That's really good for both the body and the hormones.
Almond slivers.
Yep. And you are rocking and rolling. So an anti-inflammatory diet is looking more at the constituents of the food that cause things to be anti-inflammatory in your body, in your biochemistry. And that's why we're huge on, sprouts and sprouted greens and onions and garlic and all of that stuff, because it's just a healthy baseline diet.
Ginger.
You should always be cooking with your garlic and your onions and stuff like that, because that's it, your body loves it, and once that goes into the gut, your gut loves that. So, I mean, oh, I don't have my golden fusion in this. I'll make a smoothie this afternoon. That's a high fiber smoothie. But as you can see here, my coffee has scruz. And so I am always adding things to my coffee that allow health benefits. So cacao.
All about the taste.
Yep. So, but it's, cacao. I use Metagenics Golden Fusion. I absolutely, in my coffee. So variation 1 of my coffee. Boy, that really sounds bad to say it that way. You have different types of coffee? Yeah. So in my morning coffee,
If you really like coffee, you should invest in a coffee press, a French coffee press, because then you at least get all the oils from your coffee beans and they're not soaked up by the paper, and then you're not getting bleach and stuff from your filter in your food. But once you have French press coffee, you'll never go back to your little coffee maker.
MCT oil from Metagenics, Golden Fusion, which is a Metagenics product. C grass-fed butter, and I generally use
seagrass. Where did you get seagrass? Did you add something else?
Nope, not this time. So that's one. Another variation, I will do just the Golden Fusion. And then I add in some.
Don't forget inulin.
Cacao and inulin.
Just had simple coffee today.
Inulin. I use standard process for that. The Golden Fusion, as you can see, is Metagenics. Sometimes the coffee is just black. I'll post these here in just a second. A lot of times I will take the first one. Oh, and I always add, sorry, I forgot to add the I use
What's Cacao Bliss?
Cacao Bliss for that. So lately, because they told me to take it easy on my stomach, I dropped down to the second one, and that's my version of a keto coffee or a bulletproof coffee. And so if I show that up there, I don't always use the MCT oil. I'm to the point that my lipids look really good. I don't really need the MCT oil. I'm always throwing ketones. And so it's now time to open up my diet. With that, take that into account. You want to open up the diet because Jess was with me when they did my microbiome, and I show up with these things are fascinating and fun to do, actually. Well, not fun to do, they're fun to read and figure out. The Bizophilia wadsworthia. So this is mine. And as you can see, that Bizophilia, that one is because of keto. When you eat one way or you eat a very restricted diet, you lose flexibility. You lose immunoresilience because your biome will tend to switch
Starve
that
out your
way.
friends.
Yeah, it's not good to starve out your friends. Number 5. Any questions? I mean, Vic, if that's you on here still, or Kathy, if that's you on here still, ask questions. That's what this is all about. Number 5. What vitamins should I take?
How do you take them? It's important how you take them. Otherwise, you just wash them out.
So, this is, like she says, really important. What are the components of the vitamins that you take? If you read your vitamins and they say silicon dioxide, titanium dioxide, these are things you don't want to put in your body. They typically use silicon dioxide as a covering. They'll also use the titanium dioxide to paint the pills white because we think our pills should all be white. That's not good. Titanium dioxide is a heavy metal. It's not something that the body uses, and it is a known carcinogen. You can go look that up and you'll see it. So I typically, actually, if you go to, let me post a link in here. These are the vitamins that I use typically. And so if you go to Metagenics right there, I'll copy that, put that back here. Well, give me 1 second, Vic, and I'll answer that question. That's the link for Metagenics. If you use T Miller as the code, I'll do this quick. There's that. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to do that, but everybody on here are patients so far, so I'm good. So if you go to that link and then you use T Miller as the code, that will allow you to go into the Metagenics website and buy stuff. Okay, Vicky, zinc, selenium, these are huge. Metagenics actually has a formula called Thyrosol, and that will allow you to get your thyroid vitamins and to do that. Now, You have to think about thyroid, though. Do you have a problem with production? Do you have a problem with transforming the vitamins that you take into thyroid stimulating hormone? Or, what's the problem there? Or do you have a problem with conversion from T4 down to T3, which is the active form of thyroid? So we like to shortcut it in medicine by jumping right between the thyroid stimulating hormone, and we'll typically give somebody Synthroid, which is an artificial form of T3. Is it T3, right? It's artificial T3. And so that's one of those things that you kind of got to tease out, because do you have T3 or reverse T3? If you have normal levels of reverse T3, you don't have a production problem. You have a stress problem. And that stress problem is causing your body to pull you from going down and making normal T3 into making reverse T3. And reverse T3 looks exactly like T3, but it's like your hands. Your hands are a mirror image of each other. And most of us are right side dominant. So if you're right side dominant, you use your right hand more. This is my active form of T3. And then what happens is when I get stressed or get in trouble, then I have to use my left hand. Well, the left hand looks just like the right, but it's not quite as adept. And so reverse T3 in the body does not, or it's not an active form. It looks like T3. It doesn't act like T3. So my left hand looks like my right hand, but it doesn't act like my right hand. Can't sign my name with it very well. There's a lot of stuff there that causes an issue.
Eat seaweed.
Seaweed gives you iodine, which helps you to transform T3 to T4. It's an iodine. So there's a lot of stuff there that you kind of got to tease out, because thyroid can go crazy in a lot of different ways.
But the Thyrosol is a good product because I like that.
Yep, the Thyrosol is very good.
My hands and feet are warm now.
Yeah, but that's not just because of the Thyrosol. I mean, you do a lot of stuff. You're mitigating stress factors. You're implementing your lifestyle stuff. I mean, there's a lot to it that you're doing for overall health. So that stuff adds up. And so that's the 5 most common questions. Oh, but I actually didn't answer the vitamins. So everybody should be on a good multi.
And make sure you take it the way you should take it, because people just want to take it and run. Your A, D, E, and K you have to have with fats, because they are fat soluble. And so you need to eat those with your breakfast, where you have some butter or some good oils or salmon or something. And your other ones are water soluble, and you need to take those with a little acid before you eat. So we don't really like orange juice, but orange juice, a little bit of orange juice with your vitamins actually helps you digest them well, or lemon water. And then wait about 20 minutes and then eat, because then your vitamins will make your belly sick sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm horrible at that.
But you have to eat, but you want to be able to get the best absorption out of some of those. So you want to take them with a little acid before you eat, but then make sure you do eat.
So I'm going to post up several things here. The Phyto Multi, everybody should be on, because it's just an overall, these are all Metagenics products. So the Phyto Multi is a multivitamin that is wonderful, highly absorbed, and it gives you phytonutrients, which is what we need to process things in our body. Let me post those. Let me show those. The Omegagenics 2400 EPA DHA high concentrate, a teaspoon of that is 2400 milligrams of EPA DHA. Some people can't handle that, but you want a high concentration, because everybody that I have tested in the clinic so far, even those who are taking omega-3 fatty acids, all test low. And they're all right around what the norm for typical Americans are. So I take a tablespoon of that stuff every morning with my vitamin D. Vitamin D is one of those fat soluble vitamins, and actually, it should be called a hormone because it technically is. But vitamin D is one of the things that we are deficient in that we have to have sun for to convert into 25 hydroxy and make it potent. So that vitamin D I take with the omega 3s, and then I'll later this afternoon when I eat, I'll take my multivitamin because it just makes me ill. It just gives my stomach, tears me up if I eat it on an empty stomach. I'm worthless for about 45 minutes. So those are the ones that I have seen in my patient population around here. One thing that I do like to do, and I do have my functional medicine patients do, is buy 2 liters of seltzer water. That is unflavored. Unflavored. And then put 1 tablespoon, TBLS. Put 1 tablespoon of unflavored. Milk of magnesia. So basically, this is a recipe for upping your magnesium because we're all pretty typically low in magnesium. And so you can drink 8 ounces of that. I actually take that and I'll squeeze my lemon into that, and then I drink that in the morning. And so that's just another way to make sure you're getting a lot of magnesium. Magnesium is needed in a lot of the processes and systems in the body that we really, really, really just have to have, and we're really, really, really deficient in. So, with that being said, that wraps up our 5 questions. Some of the things that we would like to announce, I believe I'm going to do just an informational weight loss seminar. And we're going to do that here at the clinic on somewhere in the beginning of April. Yes.
Can we open that up? Is it to Zoom?
I wouldn't know why not. We could Zoom it, or we could even do this because that'll do to multiple people. But we're going to do the weight loss class, and we're going to talk about healthy ways to lose weight. With that, it's going to be a $10 donation, and we're going to donate the $10
to dogs.
There you go, to dogs. And so that will be, we're going to look at April 1st. I will put something out on the Facebook page. This will include the covered clean out, which I will get uploaded to the website. I will have a mapped out foods list. There will be shopping lists. There will be a calendar with meals planned in it. And then if you're not losing weight, this is when you're doing these types of things. If you're not losing weight, we will put in a 20-minute consult so we can try to figure out where you're stuck and see if we can help you get over the hump. So let me put that in. Let me put that here. April Fool's Day. Weight loss seminar. I don't even know what day April 1st is.
I think it's a Thursday because I think I'm on call that day.
So I'll probably do something in the evening. If you're on call that day, I'll get Gracie and we'll just do something in the evening here and we'll go from there. So
April 1st is a Thursday.
So Thursday, April 1st. And what we want to do is do this for 5 weeks. Try to follow the program. It is a semi-elimination diet. It's taking out all this stuff. Hey, yay. And so we'll take out all the bad stuff. It'll be a semi-restricted or elimination diet, which will set you up to going into the number one, which is what should I eat? And we'll talk about how to reintroduce foods, and we will go from there and hopefully start to get everybody just baseline healthy. So that's open to everybody. Invite who you want and share it out. That will be, like I said, it's a $10 donation. So we'll do it on Zoom, we'll do it on StreamYard, but it's better just to be here at the clinic and we can give you the handouts and go from there. Um, what's new at the clinic? So I was kind of talking in the beginning as to what was happening new at the clinic. And so it's super exciting around here. We are in the pre-planning phase of bringing another staff member on. We're not ready for it yet, but we want to look towards bringing on like a health coach who can also work in the back. And as we bring that person on, these things where we're doing the health classes and the things of that nature, we are going to be able to have somebody who's going to sit down and have time to talk about implementation. So that's kind of where we're looking at. And why are we doing that? Because of all the different things that we're doing now, the biome testing, the
Heidelberg.
the Heidelberg, all the functional medicine stuff. It's a community, and it's a community event, and that's what we want. We want the community to be healthy, because the more that you guys and we pick good healthy foods, the more that our grocery stores and our farmers markets and these things will have to carry more. And that's what we want. We want to have healthy choices. We don't want to walk in there and just see junk right off the bat and whatnot. So community and supporting each other through this stuff is what we want to do, because the happier and the healthier the community is, the happier and the healthier we all are. And it's easier to be healthy. You know, how many times have you gone to a restaurant and there's just not been anything on the menu that you even want to eat because you know it's all junk? You know, I don't even stop at McDonald's.
Restaurant.
Yeah. I don't even
eat at home.
That's the big thing.
That's the best restaurant. Eat at home.
Well, eat at home, or even, I would really like
to eat at home.
Yeah. I would like to really at some point in time have the ability to bring people into the clinic and we all just do a mix and mash. Everybody make something to feed 6 people. And if we have, 5 families making 6 portions and we can all just mix and match, you got a week's worth of stuff right there that we all know is clean, we all know is healthy, and it's just exciting to do. And then you guys can go out and do this with your churches and with your families. I'd start with families first and do your families, and then open it up to, because you're going to start to get asked, what do you do? How did you do this? Why are you so happy, healthy, and vibrant? And those are the things that you want to spread. I just completed a microbiome masterclass. We are going through all, actually, funny enough that Vicki asked about the thyroid issues. The thyroid class that I just went through was like, I think it was 350 slides, and it's all just how to help people and looking at those pathways. And that's kind of like functional medicine, looking at the root cause and then using food as medicine to start to correct that. And if we've done enough damage that we have to go in and do a little extra, then we have those tools to do a little extra to help the body along. So if there's nothing else, I'm getting more training and getting more tools to help. Where do we think we're at? We're good. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you all later.
See you next week.
Thank you for taking this time to look into the health of you and your loved ones. This broadcast does not constitute a doctor-patient relationship. It is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not a replacement or substitute for care. If you are having issues, please seek a qualified professional trained in functional medicine. We would be happy to be of assistance with both in-person and virtual consultations. Thank you.